Right now, the Middle East is facing some of the most intense destruction we have ever seen in our lifetimes. If you turn on the news, analysts will tell you this is just a normal war over oil, borders, or nuclear weapons. But they are completely wrong. The most powerful governments in the world are currently in a state of absolute panic. They are not dropping bombs just for land. They are fighting desperately to stop a prophecy. And looking at their recent actions, they believe they only have a very short time left to do it. Let me explain exactly what is going on behind closed doors. Recently, a very famous American politician, US Senator Marco Rubio, held a press conference that should make every single Muslim pay close attention.
According to their interpretation of prophecy, believe that it is their calling to trigger this apocalyptic showdown. And therefore, when they recruit fighters, what they are recruiting them for is to be a part of this army that is going to trigger this final showdown between the West and Islam, that Islam will win, and then the whole world will be governed under their set of rules, led by the emergence of the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, their messianic figure. Why is this important for us to understand? And why is that important for the next Secretary of State to understand? Because when you understand it, you realize these are not people you can negotiate with. These are individuals with an apocalyptic vision of the future. And they will not stop until they feel they have succeeded in triggering this apocalypse. It, by the way, is similar to the views held by the Ayatollah in Iran. And so when people that have an apocalyptic vision of the future are growing in their capabilities in the case of ISIS, or trying to acquire a nuclear weapon in the case of Iran, you understand why it is that in many cases diplomacy and engagement does not work. And
if you are feeling drowned in the sea of sins, when your heart is constantly berating you from the inside, then it is a return back call from your Creator. If you are looking for a proper direction to refreshen your Iman, then our best-selling book, 100 Heart-Touching Stories to Revive Your Iman and Faith, must be your most preferable selection to read right now. The link is in the description box below.
He didn't talk about military bases or the economy. He openly talked about our deen. He said that Muslims have an apocalyptic vision. He clearly stated to the world that we are waiting for a messianic leader, Imam Mahdi, who will come and take over the entire globe. He even warned his people that it is useless to negotiate with Muslims, because everything we do is just to build an army for this future leader to govern the world by Islamic rules. Brothers and sisters, ask yourself this: why is a top-tier US politician suddenly giving lectures on Islamic end times? Why are Western leaders and even US presidents secretly studying Imam Mahdi while dropping bombs on Muslim countries like Iran? What is the real connection here? The answer is scary. They are trying to decapitate the future. The West has realized that their global system is breaking down. They know that a new Islamic order is coming, and it terrifies them. So, the war they are fighting right now is not just physical. It is a mental and psychological war. They want to weaken our faith so much that we stop believing in our own victory. They want to destroy us mentally before they destroy us physically. But more importantly, they are using this research to try and physically eliminate Imam Mahdi before he can even rise. They have read the signs. They see the global situation making sense exactly as our Prophet, peace be upon him, prophesied. So they gathered their intelligence agencies, studied our religion, and built a massive military strategy to hunt down and destroy this leader. But they made one massive mistake, and this mistake changes everything. When the West studied our religion to prepare for this war, they studied the wrong theology. They looked deeply into the Shia belief of the 12th Imam. According to that specific theology, the 12th Imam has been hiding for centuries. More importantly, in that belief, he has superhuman powers. It is believed he can fly, perform incredible magic, and has marvel-like abilities within his own body. Because they studied this, the West thinks they are preparing to fight a supernatural being. They think they need bigger bombs, stronger jets, and the most advanced technology to defeat a man with superpowers hiding somewhere in the Middle East. But according to our authentic Sunni belief, they are hunting a ghost. We do not believe Imam Mahdi is a superhero. We do not believe he has magical powers or that he has been hiding for centuries. We believe he will be a normal, ordinary human being, just like any of us. He will not have superpowers in his hands. But wait, if Imam Mahdi is just an ordinary man with no superpowers, how is he going to defeat the most advanced and heavily armed militaries in human history? This is exactly where the Western strategy completely collapses. Because the miracles will not come from Imam Mahdi, the miracles will come directly from Allah. Our authentic hadiths tell us exactly what will happen. When a massive, heavily armed military force marches towards Mecca to capture or kill Imam Mahdi, he will not fight them with lasers or superpowers. Allah Ta'ala will simply command the earth to open up, and the ground will swallow that entire army alive. Later, when the time comes to conquer Constantinople, the Muslims won't need B-52 bombers or nuclear codes. The Prophet, peace be upon him, told us that the massive walls of the fortress will fall just by the Muslims reciting the zikr of Allah, simply by declaring the greatness of Allah. Brothers and sisters, how can America drop a bomb on a miracle? Can their satellites predict when the ground will open up? Can their missiles stop a fortress wall from collapsing by the command of Allah? Absolutely not. They are desperately trying to fight a divine plan using worldly weapons. It seems Allah Ta'ala has allowed them to learn about Imam Mahdi because Allah wants them to know who is coming, but they are foolish to think they can stop it. When Allah decides to execute His plan, He does not need anyone's permission. No army, no bomb, and no technology can stop what Allah has already decreed. The future belongs to Islam, and no amount of panic from Western politicians can change that. May Allah keep our Iman strong, protect the Muslim Ummah mentally and physically, and make us among the righteous when the time comes. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss an update. Till next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
According to their interpretation of prophecy, believe that it is their calling to trigger this apocalyptic showdown. And therefore, when they recruit fighters, what they are recruiting them for is to be a part of this army that is going to trigger this final showdown between the West and Islam, that Islam will win, and then the whole world will be governed under their set of rules, led by the emergence of the 12th Imam, the Mahdi, their messianic figure. Why is this important for us to understand? And why is that important for the next Secretary of State to understand? Because when you understand it, you realize these are not people you can negotiate with. These are individuals with an apocalyptic vision of the future. And they will not stop until they feel they have succeeded in triggering this apocalypse. It, by the way, is similar to the views held by the Ayatollah in Iran. And so when people that have an apocalyptic vision of the future are growing in their capabilities in the case of ISIS, or trying to acquire a nuclear weapon in the case of Iran, you understand why it is that in many cases diplomacy and engagement does not work.
If you are feeling drowned in the sea of sins, when your heart is constantly berating you from the inside, then it is a return back call from your Creator. If you are looking for a proper direction to refreshen your Iman, then our best-selling book, 100 Heart-Touching Stories to Revive Your Iman and Faith, must be your most preferable selection to read right now. The link is in the description box below.
With each passing day in this conflict, the proverbial fog of war expands. Here, Israeli airstrikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon after the militant Shia group launched revenge attacks against Israel over the death of Iran's supreme leader. Local officials say the strikes in Lebanon have already killed dozens. Hundreds of Lebanese have fled the south, and the Israeli military is calling up reservists. We have mobilized close to 100,000, said Brigadier General Efi Defrin, dozens of battalions to defend the northern border. But the epicenter of this conflict remains in Iran. Israel and the United States continuing the heavy airstrikes they say will help put an end to a corrupt and evil regime. Iran's Red Crescent says more than 500 people have been killed so far, many civilians reportedly among the dead. Some Iranians inside the country say those outside are too quick to celebrate freedom from a religious dictatorship that is far from being delivered. I'm surprised by some Iranians abroad. The writer Mariam Manuchehri posted on social media. Yes, we're afraid of the mullahs, but we're also afraid of bombs. Fear is not restricted to Iran or to Israel, where Iranian missiles continue to slip through defenses. Forewarned by air raid sirens, this strike in the desert city of Beersheba. Iran's targeting of Middle Eastern countries hosting U.S. military bases is amplifying fears the war will spread. Here in Amman, the sound of Jordanian warplanes patrolling the skies is a near constant.
For the community.
24-year-old Salman Abu Rezek says Iran's actions make no sense.
They bomb literally the region. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Jordan as well. Why?
One theory, Adrian, is that Iran was hoping that the pain those countries are feeling now might encourage them to lobby Washington for a quicker end to the war.
Yeah, that's interesting. But if that's the goal, Margaret, it's not clear that it's working yet.
Yeah, Adrian, it seems to actually just be making them angrier. I mean, if you remember, those countries, the Gulf countries in particular, really lobbied Donald Trump not to go to war with Iran in the first place. Now they're finding themselves under attack by Iran. And in some cases, not just military targets being hit, but also civilian and commercial targets.
All right, thank you. That is Margaret Evans in Amman, Jordan tonight.